Hi YouTube, this is going to be part 2 of my trying to fix a batch of 2 Nintendo Switches. In the last part we replaced the M9 chip in one switch and charge port in that same switch and another switch, trying to fix them up. Fixed one, but the other was having an issue where whenever we would plug it in, it would only draw 0.01 amps, so basically nothing. And decided to put that into another part since the other video is getting pretty long. So here we are. This, I believe, yeah, this is the one we fixed up. So I was using this as a reference point. I was testing around a little bit, and I want to show you what I found. So, here, let's bring it under the microscope here, so you can get a better view. Change the scene. Yeah, here we go. Okay, and I put both of the boards through the ultrasonic cleaner, so they're all nice and shiny now. Okay, hold on. Let me get you a real good view here. Alright. So, I was playing around, and I noticed that this pin on this transistor right here, can you see what I'm pointing to? No. Okay, there you go. Now you can. This pin was reading, what was it? It was about 3 volts, I think. Actually, let me just check that so I'm not telling you bad information. And I can just show you the readings right here. Instead of me having to explain it, you can see the numbers yourself and not just have to blindly trust me. So let me get my multimeter. And this one's booting. Yep, it's over 1 amp, so it's turned on. Okay. So this transistor right here on this pin will read 4.40 volts. And if we follow the line, see it goes here, here, these are just test pins, and then over here. And following the trace, see where I'm going? Up over here. This capacitor right here. So that'll read the same 4.4, and then coming out from this pin, M9, 4.4. So M9 is creating that 4.4 volt rail, and this capacitor sitting right here, if we measure its continuity on either side, it shorts on either side. But if we place the probe on ground and test it, on one end it's testing continuity to ground, and the other not. On the side that has the power rail, it's not testing the ground. So with that reference point in mind, let's move over to the other switch and see what it's doing with that 4.4 volt rail coming from M9. And again, just so you can see, this is the one that's drawing 0.01 amps. Okay? So let's find that same transistor. Start at the same point. Let me zoom out a little bit so you're more in focus. There. How's that? Oh, that's good. Okay. So we got this transistor here, and he reads basically 0.01, basically. So here are these test pads that read the same thing. So we follow the trace over to this capacitor again, and 0.11, reading the pin directly off of the M9 chip. So same thing, 0.11. So the M9 is creating that 4.4 volt rail. Well, actually, it's not here. So here's that testing to ground on one side again, and there. You can see, even though I'm probing it on either side, continuity, it's not going through. It's whenever I take out the power, though, if I would have taken out the power on the other one and done this, it would have dropped the continuity between the 2 points right here, like this is doing now. So whenever it's powered on, it's supposed to have continuity between those two pins on the capacitor, and then the opposite is true whenever it's unplugged. I'm not sure why that's the case. I'm not really sure how that works even. But either way, I'm pretty sure now M9 is telling the rail not to create, or it can't create it, which leads me to believe M9 is faulty. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to replace M9. And we'll get right to that in 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So let's do that. Let's get M9 off here and get a new one on. I'm gonna go find a replacement chip. I don't think I have any more unused ones. They're all gonna be new. That's okay though. I'm gonna have to replace it at some point, so I'll just break open a new one. I like to save my brand new chips to actually sell off to people on my website, and keep the ones that I pull off of boards for my own repairs. Let's get some flux down. So from my perspective, M9 is upside down. And just so I don't get confused, so I don't forget, I'm going to orient it like that, as it's meant to go down, and put it aside. So that way I can just grab it and put it right on. I don't have to worry about orientation. Alright, that should do it. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up with alcohol while it cools. I already ran this through the ultrasonic, and I'm not planning on putting it back in. So I'm going to try to clean up everything as I go. Oh, I pushed this transistor off a little bit. Good thing I caught that. I'm going to have to put that back on. Well, actually, I'm going to clean it up first, and then we'll do that. There. Get a little nudge back into place. Okay. I still don't feel safe plugging it in yet. I'm gonna give it a few minutes. Also, something else I did in between making this video well, before I made this video, is there was one pad on this USB-C port, if you remember from the past video, that was torn off from a previous repair shop, or someone who was trying. They pulled a pad, and this pin that it connects to I thought was ground, but it is not ground actually. It's a TX pin on the USB-C pinout, which means data. So this is actually important. So I ran a wire, if you can see, and it's has continuity, so it's good. Laid it down correctly. So we shouldn't have any problems with that. And if you don't have a data pin laid down correctly in a USB-C port, it could affect its ability to display video out on the dock. Okay, I think it's about ready. We can plug it in now, it's cooled off. So let me get the amp meter in frame here so you can see. So you can see it's at 0 amps. Plug in the battery and plug in the cable. .46. Hey, how about that? Okay, so that's slow charging, and .46 could either mean the NAND's dead, the CPU's dead, it's slow charging, or it just needs an LCD. I don't know. It seems to be one of those things. Recently, it just needs an LCD. So how about I do that? I'm going to plug it in here, plug it into the LCD, so that way we can see for sure if it's slow charging. Actually, I'm going to have to readjust this USB-C port. It must have came undone a little bit whenever I was applying some hot air. You see how disconnected that is? Here's where you're meant to put in the screw, and then here's where it's meant to hit the board. I'm not supposed to be able to fit anything underneath here. So I'm actually kind of surprised that plugging it in worked. Well, I guess we'll have to take advantage of that while we can. So it's not going to hurt anything by me plugging it in like this, with the port a little bit out of place like it is. As long as I can get it in without damaging it. Which I don't think I feel safe doing. No, I'm gonna lay down that port again, so that way it's properly down. Then we can plug in the screen. Wonder how it got like that. I mean, obviously it's from my hot air. Put too much over in that area when I shouldn't have. Okay. That good? Can you see? Yeah, you can see. Okay, get my weight. I don't think I'm going to bother with any flux. Should I? Yeah, I should. I should lay down some flux. Oh, my wire's going to come undone. Yeah, my wire's going to come undone. I'll have to redo that. Oh, that sucks. let me see if the pins are lined up. If not, I'll have to readjust. Pins are lined up, but are they down enough? Yeah, they are. Okay, I'm gonna have to tap a few of those solder joints. That way I can make sure they're actually down. But if the bottom row of pins are down like they should, then we should be able to plug it in and have it work. So before I do that, actually, before I lay it down, let me plug in the battery, and then we can plug in the port to see if it'll charge like it was before, at least in one direction. And then we'll clean up the pins later. There's a .46. See, will it display the same on the other side? I don't think it will. Oh, it will. So the right amount of pins must be connecting. Still, I'm gonna tap those pads just to make sure they're down the whole way. So again, what we're doing is we're laying this down into the housing just enough that we can plug in the LCD and the backlight. So we know we can figure out whether the .46 amperage that the switch is throwing is the slow charging amperage and not the dead NAND / CPU amperage. We want the slow charging amperage because that means the switch isn't dead, which is always a plus. Okay, it's in. So, let's see. Do we get anything on screen? No. Uh-oh. That's not good. Well, if the CPU or NAND's dead, there's nothing we can do about that. Which really sucks. Let me reseat these cables, just in case. And if this doesn't work, we'll turn over the board and test the capacitors directly underneath the CPU. And if the majority of them are shorting, then we'll know it's a bad CPU. I haven't really found any way to test whether or not the backlight, the NAND's bad. Other than if the CPU tests good and we're still getting the .46 amps with nothing on screen, then that usually means bad NAND. Yeah. Same thing. Okay. One more thing that could be. The .46 could be a bad PI3 USB, which is the video chip. And that's on the underside of the board, so we'll check that while we're there too. Whenever that blows, that's the chip that blows from being in a bad third-party dock. And that'll throw the .46 amperage. but I'm pretty sure I tested that and it was good. So let's give it a check. We'll test this first and then the CPU things. What's going on here? Okay. That's weird. Looks like dried flux. Put it in the ultrasonic though. Okay, so let me test this chip. This is the PI3 USB, by the way. That guy. Video chip. It's testing good. And then one more to test. Yeah, still testing good. Well, that's a shame. I don't think there's anything I can do about it now. Man, I really hate that 0.46 stuck problem. Well, I'm not sure if there's anything more we can do with this thing. Oh yeah, we want to test CPU. These are the capacitors I was talking about. Okay, so let's see. This line is almost entirely shorted. Even on good switches. I'm not sure about these three. I'm gonna take a look at it on another board, my other one that we fixed up. Okay, so it's these three. They're shorting. Let me just keep going through, see if there's a stupid amount of them shorting. It's not really seeming like it. Nah, that seems to be pretty good. Let's just look at those bottom two here. Ones I just tested on there. The other one. Yeah, it's all showing the same. At least from my sample size. So that would make me think NAND. eMMC. Doesn't look too bad. At least I don't think. Well, unfortunately, I think this one's gonna have to be a dud. You get those sometimes, though. At least we figured out what was wrong, though. We went through and found that dead line on M9. Figured out it was M9. We changed the chip. We got a different result. So we fixed the issue. It's just it had an underlying issue that is unfortunately unfixable. So that's just how it's going to have to be. Oh well, we had fun. Plug it in one last time. Give it one last go. This one, yeah, this is the one we were just working on. Get them confused when they look so similar. You're up. 0.46. Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything further I can do with this. Well. Oh well. What are you gonna do? Okay. Well, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, consider giving me a subscribe. Can see more of this content, Nintendo Switch fixin', and hopefully other things in the future too. I have a little lot of things. Let me show you. Little bulk of video games over there. See my cat there. Hi, Kiki. Little bulk of video game things that hopefully I can get into one day, but there's just so many Switches to go through, and I just love Switches way too much. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new here, and see you in a bit. Thanks for watching. Bye.